Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of Manga Review. It's episode 39, I believe, and today we are covering more Naruto. This week on the channel, it's going to be Naruto week pretty much. I think every day we're going to be doing a Naruto manga review, and then obviously I think I was going to do a video like my thoughts on the entire Naruto manga series. Sort of how I did with Demon Slayer. I think once I finish like a complete series, I'll do my full thoughts, So, yeah. But anyway, today we have volume 61 here and volume 62. So, I don't know, because my camera's inverted, so I don't know which one goes first on the screen, but it's whatever. But yeah, on volume 61 here, we got Obito, or Toby, rather, Naruto, and so it looks like Naruto's fighting Toby, which we did see the beginning of, sort of, in the last volume or two, and then we're going to have Itachi versus Sasuke round 2, and it looks like some weird crap is happening with Kabuto. It looks like he's turning into like a weird deformed snake, almost looks like some sort of transformation like in Bloodborne or something. I don't even know what he's doing there. Really creepy though. And yeah, on the back here though, we got Kurama and Naruto. I think this was on the poster that came with the box set, which is pretty cool. And then in the next volume, volume 62, Naruto Sage Mode, or not Sage Mode, sorry, Kurama Mode, Bijou Mode, Kurama Link, whatever you want to call it. We got somebody's Susanoo right there. And I think that might be Madara's Susanoo. And then we have Madara. Here he has the Rinnegan. And then Kakashi and Guy Sensei, the goats right there. And then on the back, we have Toby and Naruto. So, yeah. Hopefully, these volumes are really good. I expect them to be since we're nearing the end. So, probably a lot of hype stuff is happening right now. We got Toby versus Naruto and Itachi versus Sasuke round 2. So, yeah. This is probably going to be good. But, yeah, I'm going to crack right into these. Alrighty, boys. I just made it to chapter 578, and turns out we might not be seeing an Itachi Sasuke fight. What we might be seeing is actually them teaming up to fight Kabuto. So Itachi and Sasuke had like a little dialogue thing where Sasuke was telling him how he's going to destroy the leaf and stuff, and that he knows the truth about Itachi's past. But basically Itachi just told him to stay back and that he's got stuff to do. Sasuke kept following him, and they ended up going to Kabuto's hideout so that Itachi can stop the Edo Tensei, but the only person who can stop it is Kabuto. Even if he dies, the Edo Tensei will still be on, apparently. So if he dies, there's nobody who can stop the Edo Tensei, so Itachi's got to figure out some way to do that. Sasuke is currently not in the fight, and the fight hasn't really even started yet, but we'll probably see, Itachi and Sasuke team up to fight him here in a minute, because Sasuke is just right outside, and Itachi is talking with Kabuto, but also we see, or just a few pages prior, we see Tsunade about to fight Madara. Well, they had already been fighting Madara, but she's using her, I guess it's called 100 Healings Jutsu. That's what it's called, like the mark on her forehead. And it has like all of the weird looking, almost like tribal marks, I guess. I don't really know. So it's called the 100 Healings. And they're having trouble with Madara. So that's why Itachi's got to take down Kabuto. But he can't really kill him. He has to try and get him to undo the Edo Tensei, unless they figure something else out. But that's what's going to have to happen right now, and yeah. So guys, I just finished volume 61, and yes, I know I read quite a bit without giving you guys an update, But there was just so much going on, and I didn't want to stop reading it all. Although I probably should have, because now there's probably going to be stuff that I forget to mention or something. But, yeah. Anyway, we finally started the fight between Sasuke, Itachi, and Kabuto. I mean, Sasuke and Itachi are teaming up to take down Kabuto, and yeah, Kabuto is kind of crazy right now because he managed to do Sage Mode. So we saw Naruto train with the giant toads on the mountain and learn Toad Sage Mode. And Kabuto basically did the same thing, except he went to like this snake cave and trained under the white snake. He is now able to do Sage Mode, which is kind of crazy, and he's able to cut off his own eyesight so that he's not affected by the normal Sharingan Genjutsu. During this fight, we also get to see Kabuto's whole backstory. And so basically, his whole thing is that he was like this orphan that was rescued by people in like an orphanage, and the mother of the orphanage, I forget her name, but she took him in and gave him, because he couldn't see well, so he gave him her glasses that he, now wears, the iconic Kabuto glasses. And yeah, so she had medical ninjutsu, and she taught it to him, so he was able to heal stuff. And during the Ninja War, he was able to heal stuff, or heal shinobi, so that the orphanage would get funding. So that's how they were helping out to continue to get funding. But Danzo, being the D-bag that he is, went to the mother, and apparently she was a member of the foundation, and she had left. And he said, you're gonna go on this mission for me, or else we're gonna cut off all funding for this orphanage. So she goes off, ends up like, she was like, okay, fine, I can't let you do that, and so I'm gonna go off then. But then he also says, and we're gonna take one of the children and train them to be like a spy or whatever. So they take Kabuto, and Kabuto's like, alright, it's fine, I can use this as a chance to better my medical ninjutsu. So he goes off with Danzo and Orochimaru, because Orochimaru actually met Kabuto when he was very young, and Kabuto healed Orochimaru's wounds during the war. So they go off, and Danzo, I don't know if Danzo directly does it, but Kabuto was trained in the Foundation to be a spy, so he's in various villages pretending to be whoever. So, but on one mission, he ended up, there's this person that came at him and he killed them, but it turns out that it was actually his mother, not his real mother, but his adopted mother, and she didn't recognize him at all when she died. And we later find out that Orochimaru, or Danzo's whole plan was to have them kill each other and get rid of the both of them because they know too much, because they're too good of spies. But rather than them killing each other, well, Kabuto kills her by accident. Well, he purposely does it, but not knowing that it was her. And she didn't know that that was Kabuto either, because of like some brainwashing stuff that happened in the Foundation. But what happens is Orochimaru is supposed to kill Kabuto, but he instead takes him in and trains him as a spy underneath him, and together they revolt against Danzo and the Foundation, and of course turn on the village. And then they continue to do freaky experiments and stuff, and that's how Kabuto and Orochimaru's relationship builds, and that's how they get to the point where they are at now. We also learn in this volume of a new Sharingan power that's kind of hard to explain. So you guys know the Izanagi that Danzo used when he had like all the Sharingans, where he would erase what would happen. Like if he got stabbed or something, he can lose eyesight in one of his Sharingans. In return, that would have never happened. So he's able to, I guess it's like some sort of time manipulation in a way. But it turns out the Izanagi isn't the only Sharingan or ocular jutsu with similar power. And there's another power. It's kind of like a yin and yang type thing called the Uzonomy, I think. And what this jutsu is able to do, it was created to counteract the Izanagi. And what it does is, when it like creates an infinite death loop, sort of. So like, what is it? I'm trying to think. It's kind of like, if you guys remember Golden Experience Requiem from JoJo. It's sort of like that. But how it works is, when the Izanagi activates, they delete something that happened. Like, let's say somebody were to get stabbed and they used the Izanagi and then they never got stabbed. But the Uzonomy, what it does is it traps them in a genjutsu where every time that they try and undo what happened to them, it'll go into a loop. So they're stuck in an infinite loop of fighting and them trying to undo what's already happened. But the way it's undone is if they lose hope, I guess, and they kind of stop trying to undo what has already been done, and they just like sort of crumble, they just lose all hope in trying to undo what's already been done, and then it gets released. So that's what they do to Kabuto, and Kabuto, or Itachi, uses that on Kabuto. So, because Kabuto's Sage Mode's pretty crazy. He's trying to turn himself into Orochimaru, and so Itachi uses the Uzonomy on him so that he can stop him from turning into Orochimaru. But then, I guess now that he lost all hope in turning into Orochimaru, the Genjutsu is undone, and I guess now he's gonna try and stop the Edo Tensei. So, yeah, this volume was pretty crazy. I mean, we got the whole battle between Itachi and Sasuke. Them teaming up was really cool, and both of them using their Susanoo. There was a lot of cool moments in this volume. I'm gonna try and find a few. Okay, so here is Kabuto when he first uses his Sage Mode. So, as you can see, he's looking pretty freaky, and that is him on the front there using Sage Mode. And he's also, what happens is, with his new body, he's able to sort of summon other people out of him, which is weird. Like, the weird snake thing in his stomach can like turn into other people, so he like manipulates it and it turns into like the Sound Ninja 4, the chick with the flute, and the spider dude, and even the, what's his name, Gerbo or something, Jurgo, not Jugo, but the fat one from the Sound Ninja 4. And also, he ends up using, like, Kimimaro also. And then at one point, it does turn into, like, Orochimaru. He has definitely a weird power. But, they end up taking it out by... Well, they can't kill him, or else, like I said, the Edo Tensei will not ever be able to be undone. And they need to stop Madara. So, I guess now Kabuto finally gave up, and he's gonna undo it. And that's kind of where the volume ends, though. I guess, here, I'll show you guys this part. Both of them using their Susanoo. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know, I'm a big fan of Itachi, so I just like to see him and Sasuke team up against a bigger threat. And, I think the Uzonomy thing was pretty cool. It definitely did remind me of, like, the Diavolo fight in JoJo Part 5. The Golden Experience Requiem, where it puts him in like an infinite death loop. That whole thing kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, pretty cool fight. I know Obito or Toby and Naruto are on here, even though they don't show up at all in this volume. And Naruto's on the back here too, but I guess maybe it's just for marketing purposes they put Naruto on it. But yeah, he's not even in this volume. But yeah, I guess I'm going to hop into this next volume here, which this one looks really cool. And I definitely think that in this fight, we'll see probably Naruto fight Toby. Because we saw that fight where he was talking with all the tailed beasts in volume 60. So we'll probably get a continuation of that. Oh, I dropped the volume. Probably get a continuation of that in this volume right here. So yeah, I'm gonna hop right into this. I just now got to chapter 591, and yeah, the Edo Tensei has finally been released. Madara, before the Edo Tensei was released, he whipped out his Susanoo, which is massive, and it's like this giant samurai, and he whipped out its sword and cut down. It leveled like a bunch of mountains. So Madara is insanely powerful. Like we saw, him fighting. The fact that he's holding up against all 5 of the Kage and beating the crap out of them. Like he's barely been like taken down at all, but he's wrecked almost every Kage at this point. Like they're all on their last leg. Like he's just insanely strong, especially now that he has Senju's power. His Susanoo is insane. He's got the Rinnegan. Like he is stacked with just strength. So I don't know if the Edo Tensei is going to erase Madara. Hopefully it does, because yeah, the Kage can't go on for much longer against this dude. But we did see that all the other characters that got brought back to life are now dead again, and that includes Itachi. But before Itachi died, he showed Sasuke his memories about how he was ordered to destroy the Uchiha clan, and turns out he didn't actually just kill his family. That's the wrong volume. He actually talked to his mother and father before he killed them, and so we get this whole scene right here. Let me show you guys, and about how he teamed up with Toby. We saw that earlier in this volume as well. But yeah, so we see that, and that chapter ends. Itachi dies, but before he does, he talks to Sasuke, and man, this part kind of got me. I was like, God dang it, Itachi's gone again, but this time, on good terms, and hopefully this will stir something up inside of Sasuke, and he won't be such a piece of crap anymore. And yeah, but that's what's happening right now. I think next up, I don't know what's about to happen, but it looks like we might finish the fight between Madara and the Kage. I'm not sure if we'll finish it, but it looks like we're going to be continuing it. But yeah, the Edo Tensei is now been undone, and all the other reanimated people are now dead, except for Madara yet, for some reason. Maybe it's just because he's so powerful that it hasn't really taken effect on him yet. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm excited to continue reading. So yeah, it looks like not everything has been tied up just yet with Madara. Turns out he was able to basically not reverse Edo Tensei, but when it got released, he knew the signs to do the Edo Tensei, so he just brought himself back to life, since he was able to put it back in place and redo some contract that Kabuto had or something like that. He was able to put the jutsu back in place for himself, so he's keeping himself alive. Everybody else is dead though. But yeah, Madara is still alive and kicking. So yeah, the Kage have a lot on their plate right now, and yeah, it's gonna be rough for them. But we also have Sasuke with Kabuto, and he was able. Well, Sasuke, what he did was he brought Orochimaru back to life. So Orochimaru wasn't actually dead. Pieces of him are still alive through the curse mark. And Anko, who Kabuto had hostage and she's unconscious, she had the curse mark. And basically what Sasuke did is earlier in the series, pre-time skip Naruto, when Sasuke first got the curse mark, Kakashi did a sealing jutsu on it. And so what Sasuke did was he used part of Kabuto for some reason and did a reverse sealing jutsu where he brought Orochimaru out of the curse mark. So Orochimaru is back. He took back his own chakra from Kabuto and so turned Kabuto back to normal and undid the Sage Mode thing. So Kabuto, he's all normal again. Orochimaru is back. And also Suigetsu and Jugo are back as well. They're with Sasuke, and they brought him this scroll. And in the scroll, I still don't know exactly what it is, but he said it's like they're gonna go find the all-knowing, whatever that means. So he requested for Orochimaru to help. Sasuke requested Orochimaru help him find whatever the all-knowing is. So they're going off to go find that. And then it looks like Naruto is continuing his fight with Toby now. So, yeah, that's all what's happening. Toby is doing something with, like, the Ten Tails weird statue that was a Gato statue or whatever. He's doing something with that. Madara's still alive, sadly. I mean, there's not much the Kage can do at this point. Like, they're all beaten really badly, and Madara hasn't even really been touched. He allowed the Tsuchikage to attack him once, just so that his armor would break, and then it's just so that he can show off that he has Senju's power. But he purposely got himself attacked so that would happen. And, other than that, he doesn't even have a scratch on him. Volume 62 has finally come to an end. I finished it. The battle between Kakashi, Might Guy, Naruto, Eight Tails, and Toby has ensued, and they managed to figure out the secret of Toby's attack, or not his attack, but his ability to phase through things. And the way it works is he's not actually phasing through stuff. Whenever you land a hit on him, let's say you were to punch him right in the chest, he uses his Sharingan to send that part of his body to the Kamui dimension, so it appears like he's phasing, or like you're phasing through him, but in reality he just creates, he makes it to where that part of his body no longer exists in this plane, if that makes sense. He teleports that part of his body to another dimension so that it appears that your attacks are phasing right through him. So, but the thing is, Kakashi uses his Sharingan to do the same thing, but he realized that somehow their two Sharingan are linked, and you guys know that Kakashi only has one Sharingan, and this dude also only has one Sharingan, so both of their Sharingans must have come from somewhere. And I mean, I already know what happens because sadly I've been spoiled, but we're getting to some heavy stuff now with Kakashi's past. So they haven't gone into it exactly. I mean, Kakashi's catching on. I think he's figuring out who exactly Toby is, and that's gonna be pretty cool. I know there is a pretty sick fight between the two coming up at some point. I don't know. Here in the next few volumes, there will be the cool fight. But yeah, that was really cool. So the volume ends with this really cool part with Naruto going Kurama mode. And, well, I mean, just how Eight Tails is able to speak through B, Nine Tails can do the same thing. And we get this really cool part right here where he turns into, like I said, Bijou mode, and he's about to rush Toby. So we're gonna see a big, probably a hand-to-hand fight between Naruto and Toby here in the next volume. So that ought to be really cool. But yeah, that's gonna about do it for this video. I really enjoyed these two volumes, especially this volume right here. I mean, this volume was good too, but this volume in particular, we saw the Uchiha brothers take on Kabuto, and finally kind of get some closure with Itachi, his whole thing. We see them team up, and everything. We get Kabuto's backstory, Orochimaru is back, all of that stuff happens, and yeah, I really enjoyed this volume. And we had Kabuto using Sage Mode, and the two Susanos fighting alongside each other was really cool also. So, both of these volumes were good, but this volume in particular was great. And yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're nearing the end, so stuff is getting really crazy. And yeah, we're going to finish this up this week. And yeah, there's not really much to say other than these volumes were really good as always, especially towards the end here. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.